Guys, I hope you're well and welcome to training vlog number 14. So this is actually a deload week. Now there's a couple of different variations to a deload, but what I usually focus on is just reducing the volume for my big key compound lifts. So in this particular session it was the overhead press and the pull-ups. I've basically dropped 1 to 2 sets on both of those exercises, but I've kept the accessory work the same purely because I'm mainly just doing shoulders and arms within today's session. There's still a couple of back exercises in there. One was obviously the pull-ups, but these aren't particularly big muscle groups, and as such they're not particularly demanding. So I've basically kept that the same but reduced the volume for my overhead press and also for the pull-ups. Now one of the things I just wanted to bring up is something I've discussed relatively recently, and that is trying to pick exercises and stay with them for a prolonged period of time. So as I mentioned before, when you change exercises too frequently, there's actually a learning phase, there's actually a neurological adaptation to that particular exercise before you can actually start seeing strength and muscle gains. So if you're one of these individuals that's changing your exercises too frequently, how can one, you objectively measure your progress, but how can two, you consistently make strength and muscle gains within that lift? You can't. So by trying to stay with certain exercises for a prolonged period of time just allows you to increase volume over time with that specific exercise. It allows you to get stronger without actually having to go through that learning neurological phase by constantly changing exercise. And that brings you on this next point. You may be under this false impression that muscle confusion is the way muscle grows, and that's completely incorrect. The muscle grows as a response to a progressive stimulus, a progressive increase in volume. That's the biggest determining factor for influencing muscle growth. So as such, if you're constantly changing your exercises too frequently to try and quote-unquote shock the muscle, you cannot consistently increase volume over time because of that learning phase, because of that neurological adaptation initially before you can actually start gaining strength and gaining volume within that particular exercise. So I'm not saying that you should never change your exercises, but try and stick with exercises for a prolonged period of time before considering changing them. So hopefully you found this useful. Look forward to speaking to you on the next video. This was the first training session of the week, so this is my weaker body part session.
Bend your chest open so I can read your heart. I need to get inside, or I will start a war. Wanna look at the pieces that make you who you are. I wanna build you up, then pick you apart. Let me see the dark sides as well as the bright. I'm gonna love you inside out. I'm gonna love you inside out. Let me see the dark sides as well as the bright. I'm gonna love you inside out. I'm gonna love you inside out. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love you inside out. I'm gonna love you inside out. I'm gonna love you inside out. inside out. I'm gonna love you.
A place that I had been. It was dark and I was supremely alone. No matter now if the compass fails again.